Part 4. What doesn't work and why we fall for it. In our quest to let go, we often encounter well-meaning but flawed advice, or we grasp at seemingly easy solutions that, unfortunately, don't truly solve the issue. Let's call these the myths of letting go. It's important to spot them because following a myth can set us back or make us feel even more frustrated. Here are some common ones. Myth 1. Just move on. The snap out of it fallacy. How many times have we heard or told ourselves to just move on already? The idea here is that letting go is simply a decision, like flipping a switch. But as we've seen, it's not that simple. The phrase, just move on, tends to invalidate the very real psychological process needed. When people try to obey this myth, they often do one of two things. Either pretend they're over it, while inside they're not, leading to suppressed feelings, or they feel shame that they can't instantly move on, which adds a layer of self-criticism on top of the original hurt. Either way, it's unhelpful. As one author on Medium put it, that's why just move on is a myth. When you decide to walk away, you're not just making a choice, you're rewiring your entire system. Letting go involves brain changes, emotional release, time. It's a gradual rewiring, not a one-time choice. So if anyone, including your own inner voice, tells you to simply get over it now, recognize that as an oversimplification. It's like telling someone with a broken leg to just start walking normally. They need to heal and rehabilitate first. A more compassionate and accurate approach is, I will move on, step by step. It's okay if it takes some time. Myth 2. Spiritual bypassing. Using positivity to avoid pain. In spiritual or self-help circles, you might encounter advice that essentially says, don't focus on the negative, just send love and light, think positive, detach from earthly concerns. While a positive outlook and spiritual practice can be incredibly helpful, spiritual bypassing is when these ideas are used to avoid dealing with real issues. For example, someone might say, I've forgiven and let it go, but in reality, they've just swept their anger under a spiritual rug. Or they might insist on staying high vibe at all times, refusing to even acknowledge their grief because they don't want to attract negativity. The problem is, unacknowledged feelings don't disappear, they fester. Spiritual bypassing is basically a sophisticated form of denial. It's harmful because it can delay genuine healing. The person is wearing a mask of enlightenment, while internally, the wound remains. Also, it can create feelings of guilt or failure, like, if I were more spiritually evolved, I wouldn't feel this anger, which is not true. We feel what we feel, and true spiritual growth often requires facing the darkness, not ignoring it. So beware of any advice that sounds like, just meditate it away instantly, or if you truly had faith, you wouldn't hurt. Real spirituality or personal growth encourages working through pain, perhaps with the aid of prayer, meditation, etc., not skipping over it. Myth 5. Emotion suppression equals strength. Society sometimes praises the strong silent type or the person who didn't let it get to them. This can lead to confusion between suppressing emotions and genuinely releasing them. Let's be clear, suppressing means you're deliberately pushing the emotion out of awareness. Like, I'm fine, it's fine, let's not talk about it. Releasing means you've worked through it thoroughly, that the emotion dissipates naturally. On the outside, both may look like not being emotional, but inside, they're worlds apart. The suppressor is like a volcano with a sealed cap, pressure building. The releaser is like a formerly active volcano that's now dormant and cool. Research by Gross and John in 2003 found that people who chronically suppressed emotions had more physiological stress and felt less authentic in relationships. In contrast, those who reappraised or accepted emotions coped better and had better well-being. Suppression tends to backfire. the emotion often returns stronger or leaks out in other ways, like health issues or sudden outbursts. So if you or someone else equates not crying or never speaking of it with having let go, that's likely a myth. Real strength can actually mean being vulnerable, having that hard conversation, shedding tears, seeking help. As the saying goes, what you resist persists. Suppression is resistance. Letting go is more about flow. Myth 6. Bypassing anger or grief, premature positivity. This is related to spiritual bypassing, but it can happen even outside spiritual contexts. The pressure to forgive and forget quickly, to look on the bright side immediately. If you jump to forgiveness without acknowledging your anger or hurt, that forgiveness may be skin deep. Psychologists mention pseudo-forgiveness, where someone says, "I forgive," just to avoid conflict or discomfort, but inside, resentment remains. Similarly, jumping to, "Well, everything happens for a reason, it's all good," without allowing yourself to mourn a loss can stall healing. Grief is a natural response to any significant loss, not just death, but loss of a relationship, a dream, a phase of life. If we don't permit ourselves to grieve because we think it's not positive or we fear it'll last forever, we end up with unresolved grief. Ironically, allowing grief often makes it resolve sooner than if we try to cut it short. So beware of any advice that effectively says, skip the anger stage or don't cry. All stages of emotion have their place in the journey. The key is not to get stuck in anger or grief indefinitely, but you do have to pass through them genuinely to come out the other side. Now, why do we fall for these myths? Often because they promise an easy way out or align with our discomfort with negative emotions. It's tempting to believe we can think our way out of pain, or that we're weak if we don't instantly bounce back. Socially, others might push these myths on us because they're uncomfortable seeing us in pain. Ever had a friend say, "Just focus on the positive," when you were venting? They probably meant well, but were uneasy with your sadness. Understanding these pitfalls helps us avoid detours. If you find yourself trying on and feeling stuck, don't beat yourself up. Myth-busting is part of learning. Simply adjust course. For example, if you've been in just move on mode but it's not working, give yourself permission to slow down and feel. If you realized you've been spiritually bypassing, maybe time to talk to a therapist or friend about the raw stuff you skipped. If you did a ritual and nothing changed, consider it wasn't magic. Maybe go back and see what underlying work is incomplete. The good news, when you commit to the real process, like we outlined in part 3, you likely won't need those quick fixes. Or when you do use things like rituals or affirmations, you'll use them in the right context and they will have meaning because they're supported by genuine emotional work. Before we move on, let's quickly differentiate suppression versus release. In one memorable way, think of holding a beach ball underwater. Suppression is you using force to keep it down. It looks calm on the surface, but your arms ache and the ball is straining to pop up. Genuine release is when you let go of the ball. At first, it may surge up, like an emotional outburst or a cry, but then it bobs on the surface and eventually floats away on the water. No effort from you. If you find yourself constantly holding under, you're suppressing, not releasing. Remember, suppression was actually shown to keep the body in a state of stress. Real letting go should feel, ultimately, relieving, like you're no longer tense from holding that beach ball down. All right, with the myths debunked and the pitfalls navigated, we can now focus on applying everything we've learned to specific life situations. After all, letting go can look a bit different depending on whether it's a heartbreak, a grudge, or self-blame. So, in the next section, we'll get practical. Domain by domain, how do you put these ideas into practice?